Hello and welcome back to RamsTalkPodcast. Now we're here today with quite a special episode. I don't think either of us expected it to be this close to the signing, but we're doing a new feature called Rams Talk Introducing, where we get someone that knows a player we've just signed very, very well, and we get to know a little bit about them before we see them play. So joining me today from Charlton Live is Joe Puddifoot. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. A little bit disappointed to see Corey go, but that's life. I think the right's been on the wall for a while, so it softens the blow a little bit.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine. I mean, I've got to start by asking Corey Blackett, Taylor. I mean, Derby fans are going crazy on social media at the minute, and it's easy to see why. He's got 8 goals, 6 assists this season. I mean, as a player, give us a real overview of what he's like.
Pace merchant. He's got pace to burn. He will pretty much at every opportunity kick a ball past someone and just race down the touchline. And if you get him with some room in front of him, he just terrorizes defenders. There was one, I can't remember who the fullback is now, but there was one early in the season where he would just beat the defender for fun. And you just wanted a referee to come on and just call time and just say, you know what, sub this guy off. Like, this fullback has had enough. So you get performances like that, but you also get performances where it doesn't quite work for him because he needs that space to operate in. He's very much a player, I think, that needs the system to be right to get the absolute best out of him. And we've had plenty of those that haven't worked for us, but he is one that has worked for us when the system has been working well. So he's I get why you guys are excited. There'll be a lot of Charlton fans that are disappointed to see him go. But there's been some highs and there's been some lows in his time at Charlton, as every player would have.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you mentioned the system there. What system really gets the best out of him?
Yeah, so 4-3-3 for me, but one where as part of the three he can run from deep. Because once he gets to pace, that's when he's dangerous. A little bit of space. He likes to cut inside as well. So you don't want too many people sort of hanging around, sort of inside his channel. You want to give him room to come inside and get those shots away. I tell you what doesn't work is a wing back in a 3-5-2. We watched that for a little while, and it was painful because his strength is not defensive. His work rateness probably isn't there defensively. He certainly doesn't really look like he's got any interest in defending at all. But that's not his game. So, if you've got a position where you can just leave someone to hang around a little bit of space, get the ball to him quickly and let him go, then he's going to be an absolute star addition for you guys at this level.
Yeah, we've already got a player like that in Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, and yeah, when he was at wing back, he probably felt the same. One of the things, I mean, we talked about this before we started recording, is his progression. I mean, he joined on a free from Tranmere in 2021, so he's been there a few years. How would you say he's changed as a player from the moment he walked through the door to now?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing is his end product has improved. He really didn't chip in with enough goals or assists when he first turned up. He'd still had that pace. Obviously, always had that. But there was one stage, I remember it very well, where he had about 8 shots in a row, and all of them were the same trajectory, straight over the bar, right into the back of the stand. And he did one from a little bit closer to the goal, and it went into the top, literally the roof of the net. And you were like, so if you stand there, you're going to score every time. Like that's the one shot you've got. But he's definitely improved since then. He does pick players out with crosses now, but he still has that tendency to get his head down and go, and it will infuriate you for the foreseeable. But if he keeps working on that end product, that's going to be where he sort of comes alive more and more throughout his career. But he is a player that will excite you and frustrate you. And one of the things I said about him is in the early days is the only player that can stop him scoring is himself. And that tells you all you need to know about him.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, you talked about the end product there, and we've got a couple of comments asking about, what is he best at? Is he better at setting up goals? Is he better at scoring goals? I mean, the numbers would say he's all right at both. But what would you say is his sort of best attribute in that sense?
I'd say he's better at scoring than assisting myself. But then we've had very difficult periods where we've had strikers like Macaulay Bonne, who I wasn't a fan of at all, Jaden Stockley, who I also wasn't a fan of, who you would have to give them 100 chances for them to take a goal. So maybe it doesn't reflect overly well on him. And when you had Alfie May, and they were on fire, both of them, towards the start of the season, he then got shifted out to the right wing. So we probably could have seen more assists from him in that scenario, but I'd say his goal getting is his most dangerous attribute, just because he just has that ability to cut inside and take a shot, and he is getting more and more lethal with that as time goes on. So hopefully for you guys, he carries that trend on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, just looking at it, he joined you, I guess, still as a young player. He was, 23 years old, and he joins us as a 26-year-old. So he's probably moving into his prime now, isn't he? And he's developed at Charlton. And I guess just sort of looking at it, it seems to be, you mentioned playing on the right wing. The left wing seems to be the main place where he likes to play.
It was
sorry, we on about Alfie May.
Yeah,
I realised
as I said
right
wing. Yeah,
I realised I said it. But it seems like the left wing is his main position. Would that be right?
Yeah, no, that is his main position. He's had some sort of experiments in other positions, left wing back, which we've mentioned. He actually ended up at left back because everybody was confused under the Holden's last game away at Oxford, and he has played through the middle. But none of those positions suit him as well as that left wing position. I think for you guys play 3-4-3 a little bit more. So
I don't know what we play anymore, Joe.
Right, brilliant. Join the club. I've got no idea what we're doing at the minute. So if you do have that position with someone to be out left wing and just have that freedom of the pitch, then he is going to be that dangerous player. My question for him is, does he translate up to the Championship? I'm not sure. His end products will have to improve for that to happen. He's got the pace, physical attributes, yes, 100%. But you're not going to get enough chances to be as wasteful as he can be, and he is sometimes at this level. He should easily, I think, have double the goals he's had this season. He probably should have more assists as well, if he'd have taken all of the chances that he probably should have done. So that is the problem. The thing is, probably in a Derby team, I can see him getting a hell of a lot of chances and scoring a lot of goals at this level.
Yeah, I think from a Derby perspective, we certainly hope so. And you've talked about some of the moments, some of the things he's done. What is his sort of out-and-out best moment in a Charlton shirt?
Blimey. I mean, talking about a player who's been through last season was described by Louis Mendes of Charlton Live as our lowest ebb. And this season, I think, is probably worse. So he's not exactly sort of over endeared with great memories, but pretty much there's a number of things, all the same thing. Where it just cuts inside onto his right foot, just rifles it into the top corner, and any time that he has that space to just go and run. And that power, he gets you off your seat every single week. So I'd say he's a constant thrill and joy to watch. And that's the thing that we will miss. That energy is going to be such a loss for us. But if we're playing 3-5-2, which is what Appleton wants, admittedly we're building a system for a manager I think we're about to sack. But if we're moving in that direction, then he's just not going to get into our side in any way that will be productive. So although it will be a miss, it'll be a waste to have him as well. Certainly, you guys, you're going to be excited from day one. I'm hoping.
I hope you're right. And we've got a comment from a guy called Daniel Rausch who tells me to ask you, Joe, about Corey's goal against Blackpool.
Yeah, it's a great question because I don't remember it. So
that's not good.
No, it's not good. I mean, if Dan wants to post a link, we can have a quick look. I hate my memory of stuff like this is awful. So I'm really not the man to ask. But there's if you go through and you just watch any clips of Charlton and his time at Charlton, you'll see goal after goal after goal where they are all very well taken, and normally powerful shots as well.
There we go. You've got an answer. Cut inside, outside the box, 83rd minute.
Yeah, no, I do remember that now. Yeah, no, that was a worldie. And to be honest, when he cut inside and he took that shot, I was fuming. I was like, there's absolutely no way that the Corey Blackett Taylor I know is going to finesse that into the top bin. But he stroked that so well. That was a real jump out your seat moment. Yeah. Oh my God, great. Yeah, sorry, I can't believe I forgot about that goal. That was an absolute banger. But that is one to go and watch because that's what he can do. And then you can go and watch some of the games where he puts it in the top of the Jimmy C last season. And but yeah, no, you'll have so many of those moments where he cuts inside and you think, is he going to? And then
when that one goes in.
Yeah, when that one goes in.
And we've talked about him as a player, but I want to ask you, Joe, about what he's like as a person. How does he come across? Because you can always tell with players, can't you? You see some players and you think, great footballer, maybe not a great guy. What did you make to him as a person at Charlton?
I think a little bit. He hasn't necessarily shone as well in the last couple of months in this run of bad form. I think that maybe he could have dug in a bit harder for us actually in the last couple of months and demonstrate it. And he was always off. So I think you get that with so many players. But if you take that aside, every clip that you see from the training ground, there's a smile on his face. He seems to be laughing and joking with all the other players. And when he's got his confidence up, you can just see he just exudes that sort of swagger. The one thing I will say is, as a player, I can't remember which manager said it, but one of the managers said that you've got to put your arm around him. And I think the crowd need to back him and give him that confidence as well, because he does trade off of that. So if you're all behind him, then you can literally watch him fly. But very jovial. He's been a fan's favourite in a tough period. He's been a shining light for us. So I'm sure that the fans will actually fall in love with him even more when he gets out there. And unfortunately, he's going to be out there twice against us next month. So I'm really not looking forward to that.
I was going to say it's a strange one. Obviously, a loan which will become permanent in the summer. He was out of contract, wasn't he? And we've paid a loan fee of around 300,000. What was the reaction of the Charlton fans to that news?
I think 300's a bargain, probably, for the fact that he can be a difference between promotion and not promotion for sides in this league. I would have been hoping for an extra one, maybe two, but he's in the last 6 months of his contract, so it's a really difficult sell, isn't it? And we'd rather get 300 than nothing for him. I was surprised by loan, but I think that's more to do with your guys' situation than anything else. But that is what it is, and we were a little bit hopeful that when it was a loan, it meant he couldn't play, but that's been debunked by Richard Corley. So that's twice he's brought me bad news today. So he's definitely on my list at the minute. He's not getting a Christmas card unless he starts bringing me some better news.
At least he's got plenty of time to make it up to you, Joe. Plenty of time. And we've kind of talked about it a little bit already, but if you were going to look at his game, what sort of aspects need work? Is it just that consistency?
100% it is that consistency and getting his head up as well. Having more confidence to go on his left foot as well, because his left foot is not bad, but he definitely favours his right. And I think that as he moves up, he's going to have to work on that defensive. Well, I know it's against Man United, but it's one that sticks in my mind where he had Anthony on the right wing and he only cuts inside. Literally all you've got to do is just stand on the inside of him, and Blackett Taylor's got pace to burn. And he just drifted onto his left shoulder. Anthony cuts inside, put it in the top corner, and that was 1-0. And we've been so good until that moment. It's moments like that where if he's going to transition up, he's going to have to get the right side of that mentality in terms of, I want to work just as hard to keep the ball out of the net as I do putting it in it. If he gets that, then he will start to translate up, and he's got to improve his percentage rate in terms of finishing. But he's been a huge player for us. Like people have said this season, maybe it's good that he goes, and I don't see that. I mean, without him, we'd have been in all sorts of trouble. We definitely would be in the relegation zone this season without him in our team so far. So he is going to be a huge loss to us. There's no two ways about it. And we will look back on his time very, very fondly for what he has contributed. It would just have been nice to have seen him sign on for a little bit longer and maybe carrying on playing a formation that gets the best out of him. But that's not the trajectory for us, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I wish you guys luck. Obviously not against us, but wish you guys luck for the season because it's not been an easy couple of years, has it? One final question from me. I mean, we've touched on it already. What can we really expect from him at Derby, and do you think he'll succeed?
I think he will succeed because I think he'll be bang up for it, and he'll be coming in with a whole new energy and enthusiasm. You boys and girls going to be well behind him, so he's going to have that. He's going to have that sort of bounce coming into the place, and his future sorted. Everything's there for him. He's closer to home. All of it looks good, and obviously with. You mentioned that you've got other elements to your game. We've got pace on the other side. That's exactly what he needs. His problem for us has been that we've not been able to have enough of a threat. Plan A, B, C, D, E, and F is pass it to Corey and hope. So people just double up against him. A team where there's multiple threats, you can't do that. So that's what I think Derby have that we don't. That will enable him to really shine in these next 6 months, the second half of the season. And it'll be a joy to watch him from March onwards.
I was going to say, after we've played you twice, I don't
100%. I'm really not looking forward to that because we are not blessed with pace at right wing back. And if we're playing a three at the back, then I just think he's going to have so much fun. Hopefully he leaves his boots at home in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Joe. I really appreciate it. And as one comment says, having this through gritted teeth, which did make me laugh. But you were telling me beforehand, you've got a pub near the ground at Charlton. Go on, tell us all about it.
Yeah, so the River Ale House is a micropub. It's about a 20-minute walk from the ground, 15-20 minutes. It's a bus that goes straight to it. So and we're away fan friendly. So if you're into your cask ale, your pale ales, then we're definitely the place to be. And if not, then it's a pub just around the corner from us that's also away fans. It's more of a lager establishment. So if that's your tipple, I'd go there. If you fancy what I think is a decent pint of beer instead, then pop on round the corner to the River Ale House.
Great stuff. Right. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. I hope you've enjoyed. We'll try and do this for every signing that we make. And thank you so much for coming on, Joe. It's been a real pleasure. And well, I'm sure I'll see you in the pub.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. And as I say, make sure you don't really play them until March.
Cheers, everyone.